What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Crystal Clear. I just wanted to jump on and talk holidays for a minute. Um, it's really the time of year, I think, so much festers within all of us. And I wanted to give you permission, because I've had to give myself permission, to do what works for you. Honestly, I canceled hosting Thanksgiving this year because I just wasn't feeling it. And we had had some big events that week and we had seen our entire family, and I just needed that time for myself that day. And Matt and Brody and I, it was just us. The big kids were with their other parents, and it was great. We took like a 6 mile walk, went to the park, and had lunch when we came back. It was really delicious. I catered the food because I didn't want to slave in the kitchen all day just to clean up just for us. And so many people that I talked to had low key, much more kind of just small, intimate, intentional Thanksgivings this year. So, with Christmas and New Year's and everything approaching, I hope that you allow yourself the space to do what works for you. Like the past 2 years, we've traveled over Christmas break, and I used to get a little FOMO seeing everyone's pictures. And this is what social media does to us, right? Like seeing everyone's pictures and they're here, they're skiing, they're doing this. And yes, it was beautiful to take our entire family to Montana last year and skiing and all the things, but it was a lot of work. It was so much preparation going into it. I mean, mind you, we had a beautiful time. The weather was like so cool and different than we're used to. We're not used to snow, and it was just beautiful. We went skiing. Mind you, one of our kids tore his ACL and LCL on the last day, but at least it was the last day. Um, but it's just, I feel like it's too much. And doing it 2 years in a row, I was able to realize that and see that. And I think this year, none of the kids had a desire to do anything over Christmas break because let's face it, they need the break too. Like they have all these standardized testings or exams and all of this stuff. And yes, I'm very much more of an experience-based parent now. Like I feel like the older they get, and our kids are great, they don't really want or ask for a lot. But, it becomes a little bit more big ticket items the older they get because they don't like toys anymore. They don't like little things anymore. And I think that it's just we're really, and I'm looking forward to slowing down and just having a very intentional holiday season. Lounging around the house, I put 3 trees up this year, and I'm super excited. We have 2 white trees that are really beautiful and decorated metallic in the family room, and then our big tree with all of kind of the family kid ornaments, um, and the fireplace room, and just making kind of the house a little winter wonderland to just chill out, watch some Christmas movies, bake some cookies. My in-laws always host Christmas Eve, and that's getting much more low key these days because all of my sister-in-laws and stuff have their own families that they kind of stay put, and everyone was here for Thanksgiving. So it's just I'm really looking forward to this low key chill. Like I love my family; they're in Tallahassee. I don't feel the need to go up there and visit right now. I kind of have the excuse that I have 6 people in my family, and it's harder to do that. But, I'll go in my own time and it doesn't have to be right on the holidays. When I was a kid and I look back and it was so much fun, but, we would have to go visit this grandparent and this grandparent and this and eat here and eat there. And it was like a whole week long of events, which it was beautiful. And I would do anything to spend another holiday with all of my grandparents. But it was a lot. And it was more stressful than it was like traditional, I think. So I promised myself once and I should say committed to myself, once I had my own family that I would want to hear them out. Like, what do they want to do? And knowing that it's just a time of season in winter that we are kind of all made to not do a lot. It's kind of like more of a like phase for our species anyway. Summer's a great time to travel, but like fall's a lot of like releasing, and then winter's kind of like hibernating and being still and going inward. Spring is more flourishing and getting ready for the summer, and then summer is going about and being busy and doing all the things. And I really am just trying to honor that with myself and my family around the holidays and just being honest with myself. Like, what's my capacity? Like, as gifts come in, I'm wrapping them, I'm putting them under the tree. We don't really do the whole Santa's bringing everything. All our kids are 16, 15, and 14. And then Brody's 3. And I've always kind of said Santa's the magic of Christmas, but I don't necessarily talk a lot about the Tooth Fairy, Santa, all the things, because I feel like, we teach our children not to lie and to be honest and truthful. So I always felt really bad lying to them about those kinds of things, even though it's very magical. We keep the magic alive, but without necessarily being like, well, Santa's doing this and Santa's doing that. Like, I think it's kind of healthy for the kids to realize like the gifts come from the parents and maybe like one big gift from Santa. But we don't really emphasize a lot of that. Yes, it's the magic and the retail part of Christmas, but we don't really focus too much on the gifts and things like that. Plus our family's birthdays are, all in a row. So it's like we have Christmas and then everyone's birthday starts to hit until like mid-year next year. But yeah, I just wanted to just a short quickie, whatever your holiday season looks like, don't over obligate yourself. Don't overcommit yourself. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to pull back from a party. The great thing about Matt and I kind of slowing down on lifestyle is no one invites us to their parties anymore because they know we're not big drinkers. Not that we still wouldn't go, but we still probably kind of wouldn't go. But allow yourself that time to do what you want to do. Like one of my girlfriends who I've had on the podcast, Tootie, she's hosting a fun client appreciation party for the ladies. I'm definitely going to that. It's going to be so much fun, but not going to every little thing that pops up or every little event that pops up, because I feel like it's just such an overstimulating time of year and that we don't acknowledge that as much. Like there's people everywhere, there's lights everywhere, there's music everywhere, and it's very overstimulating. So I've really been honest with myself about that. Like I took Brody to Gaylord Palms and we had a beautiful time. I took him and his little friend Lila. They're 3 and 4. It was perfect and precious for their ages. But by 24 hours, my girlfriend and I were done. Like we were ready to go home and it was the perfect amount of time. I'm so glad we didn't decide to do Disney because I'm just not a Disney mom anyway. And this time of year is just too much. So don't be afraid to pull back and do some non-traditional things. Or just because your family's always done it that way, it doesn't mean you always have to do it that way. Like do what you want to do. Do what works for you. Do what works for your family. And I feel like we're just the generation that needs to just cut the shit on the people pleasing and do what serves you. And if that means skipping a family gathering and doing something different, or like us, we go to my in-laws on Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day, we're in our jammies all day long. We're hanging out, maybe we get dressed and go outside and take a walk or something like that. But it's just like our day to hang out and stay put. And yes, I'll still cook Christmas dinner and have a nice dinner, but it's not something that we obligate ourselves to like go out and show out for. I feel like it's a day of rest and time to enjoy each other. And I feel like the reason for the season is just that connection and time together and warmth and love and giving us time to actually do that and not necessarily feeding into the overstimulating retail environment of it all. Because I do feel like it's a big retail holiday. Having retail stores, yes, still go shopping. However, you don't have to do that with everything. But then again, like if you want to start new traditions by maybe you're the host this year or you want to, or if it fulfills you to do those things, then absolutely do them. But if it doesn't, then don't. I think that we really overwork ourselves to the point of exhaustion. And then we have nothing else to give. And then it gets to New Year's and we make these resolutions. And maybe it's New Year's. Like, what does your New Year's look like for you? Maybe it's not setting a resolution like you have to do this or you have to do this. And maybe it's just setting the tone and creating a vision of what you want your 2024 to look like. Like, is it more travel? Is it less travel? Is it more alone time? Is it more family time? Is it more health and fitness focus? Like, I really encourage, I think because I worked in the fitness industry for so long, I'm not a resolutioner. I don't like giving into the, oh, it's January 1st. We just have to discipline ourselves for the next 4 weeks. And if we make it to February, no. It's more about setting an intention and like be your best self in 2024. And maybe it's a map of the year, like, between January and February, what are some things you want to accomplish? Between February and April, what are some things you want to accomplish? That's kind of the way that I'm approaching it. Actually, my girlfriend has a vision board um, event tomorrow night that I'm really excited about. And it's just, coming up with and it might come as you go. And maybe every quarter you kind of do a check in on what was my intention for 2024 and how did that shift because of opportunities or lack of opportunities. And it's really fun and interesting to kind of set some, not a standard, but almost like a vision of what you want your year to look like or your month to look like or your week. Like it doesn't have to be a whole year, but that's kind of my take on setting goals or resolutions or whatever you want to call them, is just being honest with yourself about it, being practical with it, and thinking big picture, not necessarily like, I want to lose 5 pounds and whatever. Like, try to make it more, I want to nurture my body more and I want to set more of a realistic tone to it so you're not so locked in to this proud of you disappointment. Like I feel like we kind of strive off of that reward of I'm proud of myself or I'm disappointed in myself. I'm proud of myself, I'm disappointed in myself. Try to take that out of it and just leave it open-ended of like I'm providing opportunities for myself and I'm providing opportunities for me to revamp some things and rewire some things and change some things and reflect on things rather than that proud to disappointment. Because I think that's where, some people fall off the wagon. Like they set a goal for themselves. It's not really realistic. They don't achieve it. So they just fall off the wagon and do whatever anyway. So it's like, well, set some, a realistic tone. And then every day kind of balance yourself and how you can navigate getting there. So yeah, that's just my tidbit on the holiday season. Be intentional, set your boundaries, don't apologize for setting your boundaries, set realistic, perseverance type motivational plans for yourself instead of like hardcore resolutions, and just keep that openness and transparency with yourself on how to navigate this season with, keeping your mental health and your physical health and the health of your family and your loved ones, and like do what works for you, and have a happy holiday season.